Okay, so I am so excited to do this material with you guys this week. It's been really fun reviewing this kind of stuff. I haven't, even though I've used bits and pieces of it in my career, just in rehearsal and score study and things like that, actually formally going back to all of this has been really fun to review. So we're going to start off this week with diatonic chords. And I mentioned a while back that that our chord analysis was going to change to Roman numerals. That's happening this week. So let's go to the key of C, because why not? That's kind of where we always start, right? So I have right here a C major scale. And we have, if you were to go through your scale degrees, you have the tonic, you have the dominant, you go back to the tonic, the leading tone right here. So you can look at the little scale degrees. And if I were to build a triad on top of each of these, you would have a consistent set of chord qualities. So for instance, if I build a triad on top of the first degree of any scale, this one happens to be in the key of C, but if we were in a different key, whatever do is, if you build a triad on top of it, you're gonna get a major chord. If I continue and build triads, the next one up is gonna be a minor quality. If you build a triad on degree 2 of the scale, you'll get a minor triad. On degree 3, you will have another minor. On degree 4, you will have a major. On the 5th degree, another major chord. 6th degree, this would turn out minor. 7th degree, it turns out diminished. Or we can write it this way. Diminished. And then we're back to major at the top. So this happens no matter what major scale you use. The bottom note on each of these triads spells out a C major scale, but the next page that we look at, it'll be a D major scale. No matter what it is, you're always going to get this combination of major, minor, and diminished. So here's where the Roman numerals come in. If you know your Roman numerals, you know your I's are ones, your V's are fives, etc. We're going to use uppercase Roman numerals for all of the major triads, lowercase Roman numerals for the minor ones. For the diminished one, we'll use the minor Roman numeral, but we'll include that symbol. So here we go. I'm going to go ahead and use red because these come back so often. We're just going to use this as an answer key here. Okay, so this is a 1 chord, major 1 chord. We've got a minor 2 chord, minor 3 chord, get those dots in there, major 4, major 5, minor 6 chord, diminished 7. So here's our 7. We're going to add that diminished symbol at the top. And then we're back to 1. So now what we're going to do is we're going to use this up here to show you how to analyze a piece of 4-part music. Now, you might have noticed that we have triads up here. You only need 3 notes to make a triad, to make a chord. And down here, we have 4-part music, which, as you know, is really common in choral world. We have soprano, alto, tenor, bass, right? That's a pretty standard way to run a voicing in your choir. And so you're going to have to double something. Okay, one of these pitches, one of these 3 pitches is gonna have to be doubled when you have 4 pitches at a time. And there are some rules to doubling that we'll talk about later, but just know for now that the most standard and stable way to build a chord is to double the root. If you double the 5th, it will still sound like the right chord. It just might not sound quite as stable, which maybe you want as a composer in various places, but it just won't sound as stable. If you double the 3rd, even your major chords will have just this somewhat minor feeling quality to it. It's hard to describe without actually playing it on the piano, which maybe I'll do later for you so you can hear the difference. But in general, for now, go ahead and double the root. Okay, now we're gonna look at these chords here. I'm going to put in the letter names first, and you can use your cheat sheet to figure out what's going on that has the triad chords in them. We have C, we have G, E, and C. Notice that the C's are doubled. So for how we're doing this right now, C is probably the root. It's been doubled. And for sure, as you look up in your cheat sheet, which I don't have with me right now, but you probably have yours handy, C, E, G is a chord, right? C, E, G. I could actually go through here if you really wanted to and mark all of these. But this is exactly, oops, not an E, D, F, A. This is exactly what your cheat sheet is, right? It shows you that set of letters, and depending on the accidentals and the keys you're in, that might change, but the letters stay the same. So we are in the key of C. A C chord would be a 1 chord. So when we're analyzing it, your answer, this would be 1. Let's see what we have here. We have F, C, F, A. By the way, as I was writing this, I just kind of threw this particular combination up here. I totally disregarded one of the big rules of voice leading that we're going to talk about later. Just know that I know this. There are some parallel fifths here. We usually try to avoid them. But for our purposes, just identifying the quality of chords, this still works. Just do as I say and not as I do here. Okay. Anyway, we've got an F chord, F, A, C. They don't always go in order. Did you notice that? F, A, C, with the F being doubled. That is this chord, F, A, C, with a doubled F. This is 4. Next chord, we have G, B, G, B. So again, I made a pre-coffee mistake this morning when I was writing this. Technically, there should be a D there since you're beginning and starting out. You actually don't need the D there with G, B, and D to make the chord. The first and the third are actually, the root and the third are the most important for the quality of it. But for our purposes, I really should have included the fifth in there as well. So this is G, B, we're just missing D. This is your 5 chord. And then at the very end, we have C, C, E, C. And this one, once again, made a small mistake. There should be a G in there. You'll forgive me because we'll do a lot more chord analysis later. This is just an introduction for how you might do it. We have C, we have E. Normally you would have G. I think I'd probably put it right here. I'd probably do this whole voice leading here. This is terrible voice leading, just take my word for it. I'd probably use this one instead of this one, which makes this have to change as well. But in any case, you should have C, E, and G and bringing back to 1. This is a really common chord progression, 1, 4, 5, 1. It's your basic one. We use this in warm-ups all the time. These are the chords I play underneath you when you're doing basic warm-ups, and I can demonstrate that for you at another time. So even though this is terrible voice leading by your teacher, we're going to do another example in a moment, and it's not going to be in C major. We're going to change what these numbers represent. You can think of it in terms of do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, and what chord qualities would be on top of those things, if that makes any sense to you. So let's do the next one with better voice leading by a master, and so you can really get the hang of it.